ready for this? Are you ready? You clicked on the link, you saw the title, I know you're after this. Okay, here we go. Here's the secret to effortless style. It's effort. Much disappointment, so clickbait, I know, but let me explain a little bit, because the reality is that you can eventually get to the point where your style does become effortless, but there's no way to do that without going through the effort part first. And I want to talk to you today about how to make that happen, what kind of effort you should or shouldn't necessarily be showing to the world, and my theory on why so many men are reticent to even get into this stage of effort, and it doesn't have anything to do with laziness. So before we dive into that, I want to give a quick thank you to today's sponsor, which is Tiege Hanley. Tiege makes taking care of your skin as effortless as possible. You like what I did there? Effortless, right? Anyway, rather than having to head out to the store, you have new inventory delivered to your door monthly or less frequently if you don't go through it that quickly. They offer 3 different levels, meaning you can work with the basics or add in heavy hitters like the eye cream or super serum. And with the starting point of 25 bucks, there's no real effort on your wallet either. I've got a link for you below, including a discount, so go check it out. Now, most of you guys, because you're here, I know you're smart guys, you have probably at least heard of, if not read the book, The 48 Laws of Power. And one of the laws that Robert Greene talks about is making your accomplishments appear effortless. Now, there are 2 parts to that formula. First is the effortlessness. You want to make it look like it's really easy to do. And second is it actually has to be an accomplishment. So we can think about all the different reasons of why effortless mastery, whether that's in style or in a sport or a musical instrument or in the ability to command a room, we like that. And if we go back to Jack Donovan's 4 tactical virtues of masculinity: courage, strength, mastery, and honor, then we can see that mastery is one of those things that we just are wired to look for in ourselves and in other men. And so we want to find that. But there's nothing that's more indicative of mastery than effortlessness in that mastery. So let me give you kind of an example of that. Think about, okay, my 1 rep max on my deadlift is 315 pounds. And when I do that, the last time I did that, my legs were all shaky. I mean, there was a very obvious amount of effort that went into that. Whereas if you see somebody else who can very easily deadlift 315 pounds, he can crank it out for reps, it moves up super quickly, then what your brain does is it automatically believes, usually based on evidence, that he can lift quite a bit more. And so an effortless level of mastery is indicative of an even higher level of mastery. And that's why you want to make your accomplishments appear effortless, even if behind the scenes it took a lot of effort to get there, because you reap more benefit from that accomplishment by making it appear effortless than you do if everybody sees the pain and the struggle that goes into it. So let's apply that to style or to grooming or to anything else. Take your skincare routine. I don't think that most men want to be, or really objectively even need to feel comfortable. You don't need to talk about your skincare routine with your boys. It's not something that needs to be like a constant thing. It's not something that you need to post up on Instagram. It's not something you text your buddies about and ask them what they're doing. It just like you don't necessarily talk to your buddies about their favorite brand of toilet paper, or you don't post up pictures of yourself on Instagram when you're sick and you've got Kleenex all up in your nose and everything. I mean, you don't have to show all the nitty gritty or all the details, and you end up reaping more benefits with great looking skin, or when your hairstyle is on point, or when your clothing style is on point, if it looks like you got there effortlessly. And so again, that doesn't mean that you actually have to get there effortlessly. Put in the work, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but that doesn't mean that you have to demonstrate and show to everybody all the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into something. It's the same thing with, why do you think that we have people practice piano in their homes as opposed to like every day is a piano recital and we're just all gonna get together as an audience and we're gonna watch your 6-year-old son like crank out, chopsticks on the keys? No, you practice in private and then you perform in public. And the more effortless you can make that performance appear, then the more benefit you will get from doing well within that performance. We need to talk about the relationship between mastery and effortlessness. So let's do this. We're going to do this way, and on this side we're going to have effort, and on this side we're going to have no effort, and then we're going to do this right here, and then up here we are going to have mastery, and down here we are going to have a lack of mastery. Okay, so we can think about it within these 4 quadrants. What we want is effortless mastery. This is what we want right here. Over here is mastery with effort. This is great. This is still a good thing, and we like this. Now, when we get down to the lack of mastery side, you have your two options of no mastery, no effort, or down here, you have no mastery with effort. Now, as you're thinking this through, you're probably telling yourself that this is the quadrant that you want to avoid, but most men don't. Most men who are content with average, who are content with mediocrity, who are content to just go along and get along, this is where they live, because this quadrant, this lack of mastery with effort, this is where the ego lives. Because the ego, we're so self-protective that the last thing we want to do is have it be very, very obvious that we are putting in a ton of effort and we still suck at something. Again, whether that's a musical instrument or your grooming routine or your style or your ability to talk to girls or whatever it is, you do not want to look like you were trying really hard and you suck. That is where ego lives. We want to avoid that so much. There's so much self-preservation in avoiding this quadrant. And so what do most guys do? They hang out over here. And we tell ourselves this lie of the only reason that I'm not up in this part of mastery is not because I'm incapable of it, but it's just because I don't put in the time. I don't need to put in the effort, or I don't care. I don't care about being muscular, or I don't care about being charismatic, or I don't care about my style, or I don't care about learning an instrument. I don't care about school. I don't care about excelling at work. How many times have you heard every single one of those excuses? Whereas if you were to give the guys the opportunity to get up here of effortless mastery without having to kind of go all the way through, of course they would be pumped on that. Everybody would take advantage of it, but they are so afraid of being here in lack of mastery with effort that we get stuck in this quadrant. And you know what sucks? Whatever it is that you're doing in your life, you cannot avoid this quadrant. You can't. You can't. You may deal with that quadrant when you're 2 years old and you're Mozart, or you may deal with it when you're 60 years old, but you cannot get good at anything in your life without being in this quadrant. This is the price that we have to pay for mastery. You have to put in the effort when you suck at it before you can get there. But what's cool is once you pay that price, then you move up here to mastery with effort, and the more you continue to fine tune and get better and better, then eventually we move right over here to that effortless mastery. Now, obviously this is what we want, but we cannot get there without going here, and we cannot get there without going through the awfulness that is this, and most of us protect ourselves by staying within here. That is why you have so many guys who will say, well, style is stupid. I don't care about how I look. Of course you do. Absolutely you care about how you look. You're just in self-preservation mode because you don't want to go through the slog of being right here. Okay, so let's wrap this up. We talked about the 4 different quadrants. We talked about the benefits of effortless mastery. We talked a little bit about what you should be doing as far as in public versus in private, but I just want to hit that point home a little bit harder. There is nothing wrong with finding yourself in this quadrant as privately as you possibly can be. And there are certain things as you get to this level of mastery with effort or effortless mastery that you don't have to talk about, you don't have to demonstrate, you don't have to show people. That doesn't mean you're being dishonest. It doesn't mean you're being inauthentic. It just means that you're being private, or you're being selective about who gets to see what part of you. You know who gets to see me when I'm sick and I'm at the bottom of my barrel? It's my wife and my kids. It's maybe my parents or her parents. It's those people who matter the most to me. I'm not gonna film a YouTube video when I've got snot dripping out of my nose and my eyes are all bloodshot and I have no energy and I'm gone, because you guys don't need to see that. Sure, you can see my struggle. You can see as I get better at things, because otherwise what you're saying is the only way that you ever present yourself in public is when you get to this effortless mastery, and that's taking it to that extreme too far. But it's being able to know in your own life, being able to look at the balance between what are the benefits of letting people see the struggle versus letting people see effortlessness. And if there are more benefits for you and for the people around you for you to be honest in your struggle, then demonstrate that. Do not keep that private. But if there are more benefits for you and the people around you for people to see effortlessness, then let them see that. My kids do not need to see when I'm having a hard day, especially at an age that is this young. They need to see me dadding effortlessly. even though I do not do it effortlessly. For the most part, I'm like right in between these two stages here as a father. But for their sake and for my own sake, I try to make it look as effortless with them as I possibly can. You guys get the point. I want to hear what you have to say about this. Have you found yourself so afraid of being down here that you spend most of your life over here? How have you found a way to privately go through this until you can publicly present yourself this way? Do you think that I'm being totally inauthentic and that everybody should see all the nitty-gritty and everything in your life? Do you disagree with even this idea of these 4 quadrants? Let me know what you think below in the comments. This is a good community, and pay attention to the comments below, because you will find intelligent, like-minded, or completely unlike-minded men, but leave your comment in there and let me know what you think. Now, one of the easiest ways for you to be able to improve your style and get it to the point where it's effortless, work with me one-on-one. I've got a link for you right here. If you want to watch more videos like this, I've got them right here. And if you are not, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you can see the next video when it comes out. And I will talk to you guys on the next one.